Good morning, Polynikes here, and today I've got part 2 for you of the Iowa incident. All right, here's the Iowa incident. You can see the lineup down there as I get my laser pointer out here, pen. Yeah, so today we're doing part 2, which is the fourth and fifth missions, safe area and firefight. First thing about the venue is at this theater. It's like a community theater where they have plays and such. And the best part of that was the tables. They had stage risers that we got to play on. The stage risers had plenty of space between the tables, which is great to put your tokens and figures and everything. And really the best part of it was they were 36 inches high. I am not a tall guy, and after a day of playing on the lower tables, they're like 26 inches or something like that, and you're hunched over the whole time playing. It's terrible. 36 inches high is great. That should be the standard. All right. So the first mission today, Safe Area, is going to be against the Tartary Army Corps. And this is the list that I brought specifically for them. There's a school of thinking that says you bring one list for like the missions and you bring one list to fight Ariadne. I often do that because I think that I need a lot of different tools. Like if you look down this list, I've got 2 visors, the Charantans 3 and the Makreps 2. And then I've got 2 Dotaratsais, laying smoke for the 2 of them, as well as being great interceptors for dogs of any kind. Antipodes don't really want to get in combat with them. Dog soldiers don't. Dog faces. None of those dogs want to get in hand-to-hand with the Dotaratsai. So you put them up in front, and they have to run to them, or you hide behind your dots, something like that. A mine layer, again, is great for stopping those dog rushes. You just get a mine in the way, and either spend a short skill dodging, slows them down, maybe you kill 1 or 2. It's wonderful. I have 2 R drones on the list, mostly for order fill and flash pulses. Flash pulses are, again, great against everything in Ariadne because they don't have any BTS. The one thing I ended up not particularly liking about this list was I don't have an M drone, so I have no sniffer. I got the 2 R drones with sniffers, but no sensor, which is what the M drone brings. So if I were to play something similar, I would probably take the Cube Yager out and put in the M drone for his sensor. And yeah, the Morat down here is basically just for upgrading the Q drone and being a specialist. Okay. Safe area. If you're not familiar with this mission, you can take a little look at it here. Scoring table quarters and consoles in the middle of the quarters, and all the scoring is at end of the game. Right? End of the game, end of the game. And to control those consoles, you have to have a specialist alive and touching them. That's pretty difficult, especially if you're going first. All right, here's my opponent. I believe his ITS handle is Lord of Apathy. Not totally sure, but this is him. And here's his list. A lot of secret stuff on there, which I, of course, don't know when we start the game. But he's got all the things I kind of expected to see. Antipodes, Straylocks, Spetnots, a veteran Kazakh backed up by a bunch of line Kazakhs. Vasily seems to be a common take. At least every game against the attack I've had so far, he's been in there. Tractor Mules, at least one of them's a mine layer. Yeah, Ermendijo's great, War Core. He also has a War Driver, I believe. Or maybe it was just a War Core. I thought he had a War Driver. Yeah, he does. He does have a War Driver in there. Yeah, okay. So I win the lieutenant role. I choose sides, mainly because one of the sides has like a better perch, and I don't want to have to deal with a sniper up there the whole game. So I'm not really going to use it myself. I'm just denying it to him. He chooses to go first, which is fine. But again, this mission is a little bit tilted towards going second for scoring, unless you're going to clean up really well on your opponent. I have Extreme Prejudice as my classified, but I'm going to do the intel part of it because adding 20 points into a quarter could be pretty significant. And in this mission, you can also choose at the end of the game which mode of intel you're going to use. So you can choose it to turn off a specialist or to add that 20 points, whichever one you need at the moment, which is great flexibility for it. All right. I do not have enough pictures of either of the games today, just to forewarn you, because we were playing and not taking as much. But I'll walk you through what I can. This is his deployment with the War Driver over here, the hacker. The 2 camo tokens next to the objective down here are the Straylock and his ambush camouflage. I believe that number 9 is the Straylock and number 10 over here is the ambush. Now, you're not supposed to deploy touching an objective, so I assume that he's not actually there. I think he wasn't. Okay, this is the link over here. The one painted model right here is the Vet Kazakh with APHMG, and the line Kazakhs are scattered around off to my right, the veteran Kazakh's left. And behind him, where also the 112 Doctor is, like behind this building over here. This is the center of the board. You can see the 112 hiding and some of the other line Kazakhs. Our Mendijos back here. A bunch more camo tokens. I believe number 7 ends up being the Spetnats. And this was one of the Anapodes. The other two will be off to the right. And the handler's kind of down here somewhere. Yeah, you can see that. I think it was this one, and this one were the Anapodes. The handler's down there somewhere. This is one of the mule bots, which is the mine layer. This is a mine actually for it over here. Xenotech is this unpainted figure, and this is his dozer who's controlling the Xenotech. Up top on the other objective, we've got another Straylock, which I think that's actually the ambush camouflage, and the actual Straylock is down at the bottom of these stairs. This room, you can see the corner of right here, is an objective room, and again, all the objective rooms in this tournament are infinitely high, so there's blocks a sizable chunk of line of fire there. I didn't get any pictures of my deployment, so this is right into the enemy's first turn. I'll kind of walk you through where my things are as they do stuff. Like the first thing that happens is Vasily reveals here. My reserve was my Q drone, and it went down, covering some good areas. And his reserve was this camo token way out here, which is Vasily and appears and is able to surprise shot the Q drone with his T2 sniper rifle from very bad range for me. Obviously that worked out for him. Put the Q drone down, and then finish it off, so I couldn't repair it there. On my right flank, you can see in the room here, I've got a mine. This one is the mine from the mine layer. The mine layer himself is behind these boxes here. I like the positioning on this mine because it covers this area out here. It's actually not that far. It does not hit the dozer as you come out. It also covers the other doorway over there a little bit. So if they try to sneak in this way, and, the mine can do double action. So what's happening here is the dozer moves up and brings up the Xenotech and places down the Xeno multi-scanner, it's called. Yeah, places the multi-scanner there. I think the dozer takes like a flash pulse over there, and nothing really happens. He ends up going prone and just holding that position. Additionally, in his turn, his Spetnats appears and kills one of my R drones, and his veteran Kazakh moves up. They can't really get line of fire to anything except the other R drone, which I believe they kill, and then they kind of hold up position in the center of the board, which I think we have a picture of here. This is the other side of that objective room where the mine is in. The mine layer is pretty much here inside the building. You can see one of my dots hanging out here. This slave drone was up here to protect the Q drone, which is now gone. And this is the R drone, which is kind of flash pulsing over in that direction. The R drone did survive the first turn. Okay, this was basically the end of his turn. Nothing else is really happening over on this side. His Anapodes advance up the center, get discovered by the Charonted and probably the Makarep, who's on a tower, kind of prone, hiding. And then, because they're discovered as they're super jumping around, they're kind of in the open. I think 2 of them were. They super jump again to get behind the building, and the Charonted kills one, and 2 of the other ones land in the doorway to the objective room, right over here, what I was saying, and the mine goes off on them. They dodge, one of them fails and dies. So at the end of his turn, only 1 Anapode is left, and it is in this objective room. It's just through this doorway here, which you'll see in another picture coming on there. And his linked team of line Kazakhs and veteran Kazakh are sort of a little bit to my left on the board, moving up. Hopefully, I think I have a picture of that. Oh, this is me actually placing the multi-scanner for the first time I've ever placed it on the first roll. It's my Kurgat on my right flank. He's moving up kind of opposite the dozer that you saw, and he draws line of fire over or through their Xenotech to where their dozer would be, but their dozer is prone. So I'm not seeing him, but I do move up. Really, I'm getting positioned to move up to an objective later, and I lay a mine over there on just outside of my deployment in case he's got something coming in the side. And my Xenotech is just over here and has placed the scanner. Okay. I don't have a picture of it, I guess, but my Charonted earlier in my turn, this is onto my opponent's second turn, but the Charonted had a view through over here where my daughter outside were able to throw a bunch of smoke so nobody could see anything. And then the Charonted moved up and did a little split burst firing because I'm greedy. And here's the Anapode. I put him unconscious shooting through that door, at the same time shooting off to my left at some line Kazakhs that were out of cover, just kind of standing around the board. They're part of the link team with the vet Kazakh, so whittling them down is great. And when I'm shooting at them through the smoke, my opponent is choosing to dodge. And I can see that decision if your dodge can get you out of line of fire or maybe into cover if you're not in, but really shooting back would have been a better option because you have 6 cents, you have +3 for being in the link, and you get 2 dice, right, when shooting. So it ended up being something like 2 dice on 11s to shoot, 1 die on a 10 to dodge. He was dodging, trying to get out of the way, and I killed, I think, 3 of the line Kazakhs before the Sharanta retreated into this corner over here. Now, at the beginning of my turn, there was a net rod right here, and I've got a Dotaratsai over there and a Dotaratsai over there that are protecting the Sharanta. Because I'm expecting the line Kazakh to come through here and just wreak havoc on all of this. And if I can get a smoke grenade down on the Sharanta, then at least line Kazakh can't kill him. He can kill the 2 Dotaratsai, that's fine, as long as the Sharanta survives. What in fact happens is my opponent brings up his Mulebot, which is the armed one with the double action weapon, and it moves into position and gets shot at by the Kurgat, who's viewing over there. He sees where the dozer is. I'll back up to where you can see that little picture. Okay, so right next to the dozer, his Mulebot moves up, and it's about right here. And then this mine is gone by now. It does a speculative fire shot, which is what happens to the Sharantid over here. This is a prime example of why I don't play the Sharantid very much. And that is the Sharantid tends to die to the first thing that attacks it. It doesn't matter what it is. I've lost my Sharantid to 1 shot from a combi rifle from an Arigato biker. He's lost multiple firefights with a basic Fusilier. Yeah, so the spec fire shot comes in, hits the Sharantid, does 2 wounds to him, and kills the net rod that's behind him. Fortunately, the Mulebot is destroyed by the Kurgat's shotgun and doesn't get to do that again. At this point, I'm pretty sure the Sharantid is going to die if the veteran Kazakh comes around the corner and I don't get smoke on him. Fortunately for me, that doesn't happen. The veteran Kazakh moves up, I throw some smoke, and he is not able to kill the Dotaratsai because the smoke goes down. And that was pretty much it for my opponent's second turn. Here you can see the Mulebot over there, where I was taking his shots from. Dozer here is still prone. All right, this is moving into my third turn. Yes, this is basically the end of the game. What happened was the Makrep tracker moves around the perch, which I don't have a good picture of. He's able to pluck off the Spetnots, the War Driver, and the 2 Straylocks. And then the Dotaratsai on my right runs up and is able to kill the dozer, and then run to the other side of the board and kill the handler for the Antipodes and the baggage bot that's over there. Schwartz is just still staying around with 1 wound, not doing anything. This Dotaratsai, who's unconscious in this picture, is killed by this line Kazakh over here. But before that, he killed the veteran Kazakh. What happened was a veteran Kazakh moved up, and the Dotaratsai threw a smoke, so he survived that. And then on my opponent's turn, the Ermendijo runs out, and I chain rifle, hitting the vet Kazakh and the Ermendijo. The Ermendijo dodges, and the vet Kazakh takes a wound. And then when he tries to kill the Dotaratsai with his heavy pistol, I engage him, and I successfully do. And then on my turn, I kill him with the Impetuous Order. So then I run over here and get killed there, which is fine, because my Cube Yager walks on the board on my far left flank, shoots this guy in the back and kills him. This camo token here is a Shrouded Forward Observer. It runs forward, runs up here on top of that objective. The Hacker runs up to the objective in this quarter of the board, and the Kurgat Engineer is able to get on the one that he was moving up to earlier on. And that's pretty much how the game ended. Most of his things were dead. I had 3 quarters. So these are the final army points and objective points. I think it was his 112 doctor, who was strangely worth 12 points, who was left. Okay, moving into the final game. I'm using my list I was using for all the other games in this one. You can take a quick look at it here. It's standard stuff I've been running. Lots of drones, Speculo, Code Alley, who usually shows up and does something good. And yeah, a lot of hackers. My third opponent is playing OSS. I didn't get his ITS name either. You'll see when I go to his sheet in a moment. Yeah, here's a sheet. His ITS name is right here, right? I don't know how it didn't print out. Maybe it's constant something, 1M. Anyway, he's playing OSS, another single group battle. Okay, he's got 1 combat group. 3 of the 5 armies I faced had 1 combat group in this event. So he's got a Marut, you see there. He's got the Aspara, who I think is a really strong model. Obviously, I don't know what the Naga is, but it's a camo token out there. I assume it's a killer hacker, which it ends up being. And then he's got the proxies, which are incredible, particularly with the Strategos level 3, right? He wins the lieutenant role. He chooses to go first, which is fine with me. You know, we're playing Firefight, if I'm not mistaken, and that's fine. He announces Strategos level 3, so I know he's going to put a Marut out. And yeah. Okay, so this is my deployment. He deployed first, remember, because I chose to, he chose to go first, so I make deployment choices. So I can see what's on the board except for his reserves, which are the Marut and the proxies. Obviously, I knew it was the Marut. I didn't know it was going to be proxies. You know, it's a possibility, but I did not know that. So one of his interesting deployments is there's a camo token right over here. It's right at the edge, like as far as up it can get, pretty much. I assume that's a Naga killer hacker, which is why this deployment looks like it does. I want my repeaters not so close to that that he can walk up and just start hacking through to my lieutenant, right? Or any of my other hackers. So Bit is right up here to hopefully be able to intercept that. If he tries to move up, maybe Kiss can spot him, or maybe the R drone can discover him if he comes around like through there, and then she can try to killer hack in before he can get to anybody else. It's really the best bet going on there. My Imatron over there. You can see the Imatron carrying this picture over. Got an R drone, my T drone, the slave drone, the M drone, the Q drone, Icadron, another Imatron over there. On my far right, my lieutenant up here, prone, who's the Nexus hacker, and the E drone back here, who runs overclock, giving all my drones burst 2 in the ARO, if they have repeaters, right? And then my Zuriat, who's up on top of this building. This building's really high. Like, this piece is like 8 inches, so she's well above the ground, which means that nothing can really get to her unless they get to my repeater. And she's behind this item of scenery on top of the building, so none of the vantage points on his side of the board can see her either. He has a linked team of the Dakinis, the sniper of which is on the top of the building right over there, which has a pretty good view, and most of my stuff is hiding from it, so I don't really want to find it. And then my Speculo deploys right next to his sniper, the sniper Dakini. Okay, so again, with not enough pictures, I'll kind of walk you through what happened. His Marut starts the game very central, over behind this car over here. And he spends a couple orders moving around and shooting. He shoots my Q drone, he puts it down, takes a couple orders. He shoots one of the R drones, puts that down. Obviously, that's not very hard. He starts complaining that he can't move his Marut around the board because the scenery isn't small enough for him to like get around. I'm sorry, not small. The gaps aren't large enough for the Marut to walk through, which is pretty much true in all the places. But at this point, I guess he didn't quite conceptualize how the vaulting works, because these large silhouette models like a Marut or a Magariba Guard or an Avatar, like they can jump over things in stages. So like if the Marut moves up to here, right, this piece is not large enough to block it, so it can stand on top of that. Now the silhouette is over this piece here, so now it can walk up on top of that and stand like right up here. I don't know if it's a good idea, it depends on how things can see you, right? But my point is that you can walk up things like that. And a lot of the buildings are the same. There'll be like a car in front of a building, right? So you can walk up on top of the car, which then makes you taller than the building. And then you can walk up on top of the building. So if you can see that for your tags, they're much more maneuverable than you think they are. They can also get lines of fire that are pretty crazy. Even if you just like step up on it and step off, you can like pop up to a different height to get things. And because you're so big, you often get taller than buildings that people are on. And so you can deny them their cover. That's one of the more powerful parts about tags, actually, I think. So what his Marut does is it runs around over here, kills a couple things, ends up on the other side of the board, trying to hide as much as it can. And then on the top of the building, there's a bit of a fight between the Speculo and the Dakini. The Dakini discovers me. I obviously do nothing to waste the order. He discovers me again, and then I start like a combination of failing smoke dodges and shooting shotguns at him. I eventually hit him like twice with the shotgun and it bounces off. He hits me once with the pistol, it bounces off. And all that just kind of settles. Nothing really happens. Oh yeah, my opponent's deployment was obviously the proxies we saw from his list. One of them was the engineer, and one of them, I think that was the only one he deployed. The other one is a assault hacker who's hidden, who will come up later in the game. It's over there. Obviously, I don't know about it. Okay, so the turn flips over to me, and that camo token is still over there, but it hasn't done anything. So Bit runs out. Kiss is dead. The Marut killed Kiss. And Bit runs out over here and shoots a repeater down, which lands right next to the Marut. I then proceed to sat lock it. remember, your BTS doesn't help you against Satlock. And I was actually thinking back to my game against the Salamander, where my hacking attempts were just completely wasted on it. So instead of trying to hack it, like possess it or something like that, I just Satlock it. And then I guide missiles into it. It takes me like 3 or 4 guided missiles to put it unconscious. My opponent is using the ECM to give me -6. It negates the +6 bonus there. So the missiles are only hitting on a 12, so like one of them misses and a couple other hit. The decision there is use your ECM, which gives me -6, removing the +6 bonus for the guiding, or dodge at -9 for the tag. If you have a really high fizz on your tag and you have a couple hackers counter-hacking it, the dodge is better. But if you don't, I think the -6 is better. I don't know, I didn't do the math. But my opponent, that's what he did. He chose to use the ECM. And like I said, 3 or 4 orders, it put the Maroon unconscious. And then, because of no way I'm going to let that thing get back up, Bit comes up. She comes around over here and starts firing on the Maroon with her submachine gun. Now, remember, submachine guns have armor-piercing rounds, and he's been targeted, so I'm at +3, even up to 16, and I'm able to get him out of cover because of how big the model is. So it takes her another like 3 or 4 orders, but she does the last couple wounds to the Maroon and takes it off the board. My opponent got pretty demoralized at that point, which is understandable. He's probably not coming back from that. Bit gets something out of the panoply, because that's one of the objectives there. I think she got a multi-rifle. And then she just posts herself right there. And that's pretty much all I did in the first turn. No, the Speculo activated. The Speculo kills the sniper. I throw another repeater out, and I isolate the HMG Dakini and break that link, just so that it's easier. I do that before the Speculo attacks, obviously. That's the end of my first turn attacks. Then I put up Kaleidoscope, because I'm sure that's a killer hacker over there, and I'm trying to defend my lieutenant, and it didn't occur to me to put down Nullifier. Or maybe I ran out of orders in his group before I did that. That sounds more likely. So I put down Kaleidoscope. And what happens is the killer hacker does indeed come out, and it kills Bit in a crazy hacking war, where like he surprise hacks me, I maestro him. He wins with 2 rolls of like 1 and 2. So Bit tries to re-roll with the command tokens through the Evo, doesn't work out. Then she tanks all the armor saves. And then like that same thing happens again. And this time she dies. And my opponents had lost the lieutenant because they killed the Maroon. He didn't have any chain of command. So he spends a couple command tokens to make that all happen with the Naga, who went dogged at some point. I can't remember. I think maybe Bit did get him with a hacking program first. But that's pretty much all my opponent does in his second turn. He kills Bit and maybe shuffles a couple guys around. He's not able to take out the Speculo. The Speculo, I think he tries to electric pulse it with his slave drone who was up on top to fix the Dakinis, but she kills it fairly easily. So we're going into, this is a little bit later on in the game actually, in my turn. So yeah, my turn 2, where I run my M drone up to get an objective, get a panoply or do something. And then I move over here and, all right, I ran my Specular, or excuse me, I ran my M drone up there to get within hacking range of his hacker, the Naga. Bit did not kill it. I know that's questionable, but that's what I did. And I put him dogged, and then made a silly mistake where I activated my E drone in order to put up Kaleidoscope again. And then he hacked through my repeater and killed the E drone. I was like, all right. So I sent Dockworm over there, repaired the E drone, and then just decided to move away from him. Right, he's dogged, right? He'll die at the end of the turn and stop playing with him. So I go over here. The M drone can't get through this little area to get to the objective, so I long skill jump over it and land right here. This is where we had another sort of weird rules interaction, where the post-human hacker, who's now over here, was actually deployed right where my M drone is, right next to the objective, like a millimeter away because you can't be touching it, but like right there where the M drone is. My opponent said that the resolution is that he gets to reveal it and just scoot it away from me, not in close combat, like 1 millimeter away, and reveal and shoot me with a shotgun because I've done a long skill jump. I say that I don't think that's the case. You have to reveal where you are, and if for some reason something is there, you cannot reveal. I don't know if there's an official answer to this. I think there is not. We called the judge. The judge said that he could reveal. He could move over and reveal. So that's what happens. He reveals here, shoots your shotgun, puts the M drone unconscious. That's his unconscious marker. This is an assault hacker, and I'm a little worried about it. So I send over my Icadron here, and I flame it a couple of times. That doesn't work. He just keeps dodging over. And then lastly, my lieutenant sucker punches it, and actually does kill it with that. And that turns over my turn. Back to my opponent's turn, where he doesn't have a lot to do in his turn 3. He runs up his engineer over here, trying to get sabotage on this building. That's his classified. He gets over there, he puts this guy unconscious in a little firefight, and then he realizes that the building that he's trying to sabotage, this is the center line right here, is not completely on my half of the board. So that's not going to work out. And he runs out of orders like right about here anyway, because he had to firefight with this guy. So it goes over to my turn. Not a terrible lot to do. You can see my lieutenant here and where his guy is there. What I do is send the E-drone up the middle to try to secure the HVT and get another classified. It fails with a roll of 20, so I don't get the classified, but I do get the HVT secured. And then Kodali shows up and just guns down his engineer who was right over here, killing him. Remember, it's firefight, you can walk on anywhere you want. And that was the end of the game. So I had a lot of guys surviving, and he did not. Taking the Marut single order group, or one combat group, I'm sure it's powerful, right? But I just, as he said many times during the game, I just didn't give him anything to kill. On his first turn, he could run around and kill some R drones, my Q drone, and that was really about it, without getting deep into my territory where he'd be stuck. And correctly, you know, that's not where you want your tag to be. Okay, so that's the end of the event with 5 major wins. I did indeed get first place at Iowa Incident. It was great, had a wonderful time, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Well, anyone has any questions, feel free to post them below. I'll answer as best I can. I know there weren't enough pictures for these. I will attempt to get more pictures later on, but it's hard.